This is Eric Mwathe for the week of September the 16th, 2013. We are looking at futures here with the Dow called up about 180 points, which is a big gap up if it holds into the open and also into the rest of the week. Remember, this is now options expiration week, so we never know whether this move in the market is going to hold either for today or for the rest of the week, but we'll see. Really a surprise if you are short and if you're expecting the market to go lower because it's just come out of nowhere. But that's the market for you. It's been in a bull trend, and this is how it just keeps moving forward. The S&P 500 is now currently very close to 1700, and then we see that overnight China was slightly down, Japan was unchanged, Hong Kong was up 1.47. At the moment we are looking at the European market with the FTSE leading the European market up 1.23%, and we are looking at commodities now, and pre-market gold is up about 6 points there, and we see that crude oil is down about 1.31% or $1.42. So that's pre-market action for you. Let's take a look at what the weekly charts look like as we go into the new week. Now we see that the Nasdaq held and broke out actually last week above 3687 or 3689. Nice breakout there, so it's trying to follow through, which is an absolutely powerful looking chart. There's nothing to add here other than on the weekly RSI we had seen support coming from these lines here. So this had been support there, and so this push is really no surprise. We might see the move this morning push the Nasdaq above 69 on the RSI, which is another powerful indication of momentum. If we take a look at the Nasdaq daily, we see that I was expecting to see some resistance here on the RSI based on this previous breakpoint there, so that was being tested. Now we'll see how we open and how we hold, but this was supposed to be some level of resistance. It was actually holding very well. The resistance was holding, but as of this morning's move, this might be a breakout here on the RSI. Notice how the market moved above this previous daily closing high. Nice breakout, very smooth breakout, settled above that breakout for about the last 5 days, and now moving forward. An absolute good looking daily chart there to the upside. The Dow has not yet broken out. If you take a look at the Dow weekly, you see that the breakout point for the Dow is 15,658, and right now in the pre-market action it's trading at 15.4, so it's about 200 points away from this breakout here. But since the Nasdaq has taken that breakout on the weekly, this could be the next target for the Dow. We'll see what happens. On the Dow daily, we see that there was gonna be a failed back test of this line here. We broke here, we are now back testing this side here. Seemed like that was gonna be resistance, but now with this move in the morning, this might be indicating that the Dow moves and breaks that level there and pushes higher to challenge these previous highs on the daily. So I was also looking at the RSI to show some resistance here, which was a previous breakpoint. So this breakpoint here, I thought the market would stall there, but seems like there was also another resistance level there. So with this move, the market is going to be breaking out if it holds, and that's going to change things. I believe that's going to change things to the extent that this might begin another move to the upside, just given the fact that it's where you'd expect resistance here is now probably going to be a breakout point, and that's going to suggest a market that wants to move higher. S&P 500 from a weekly standpoint, the S&P 500, oh, that's the transports. Let me give you the S&P 500. The S&P 500 needs to break out above 1709. That would be the weekly breakout for the S&P 500. So that's the level to watch. If it moves and breaks out above that, that's a fresh breakout, and potential new highs could be in the offering here. So 1709 on the S&P 500 weekly is the previous highest weekly close ever. The S&P 500 daily, you see that it also needs to take out the highs here, but now that we can look back, we can say that this level here, this lows, and once we drew a straight line, the market found support there, which would have been indication that this market was going to move higher. So this is where support came. It was very constructive. It was on a very well defined support line. It held the 50-day moving average. The fact that it's moving higher should not necessarily be a surprise. It's just that the velocity is with this move this morning is really surprising, but the market had held support, so trying to break out again should not be entirely surprising. Let's take a look at the IYR, the real estate market, which was leading the market lower. And I'm beginning to wonder whether this weekly chart, remember we had, if you go back, we had this new lows here on the weekly chart, but support held here on the RSI. And now we had this lower lows here, but support seems to have held there. So maybe this is as low as they go. We'll see whether they can take back the 10-week moving average. If they can take back the 10-week moving average, then maybe now they're starting to construct this chart which was leading the market lower. So the RSIs on the weekly for the IYR do show some type of support, but we haven't seen it take out the 10-week moving average. It had to take out the 10-week moving average previously in 2011 here. It's only after it recaptured back above the 10-week moving average that it started constructing this move higher. So until it takes out the 10-week moving average, maybe this is just eventually going to break. We'll see what happens there. Let's take a look at gold on a weekly level here. So we see that gold failed to break out or move out of this red line there. So that was the first indication that there was going to be resistance there. That resistance seems to have held, also seems to have been rejected back to the 10-week moving average. Gold is up in the pre-market action. I don't know that it's going to hold, but it seems like the 10-week moving average is where we can watch to see whether it recaptures that. But I would be a buy of gold whenever it breaks out above 1396. So 1396 here, this is the highest weekly close going back a couple of weeks. If it can break out there, that's when you might initiate a small position in gold. For now, I wouldn't be a buyer because it seems to be stalling, moving back below the 10-week moving average. If we take a look at gold daily here, we see that gold is trying to defend the 50-day moving average. So that might be an area of interest to see what happens. As long as it's defending that 50-day moving average successfully, then maybe it's going to be constructing this chart, and eventually the 50-day moving average is going to be coiling to the upside, and gold could be pushing higher to break out above this 1400 level. So let's watch that level there, the 1400 level, which coincides with the weekly chart at about 1396. So on the weekly it's going to be 1396 would be the buy point. If we take a look at one more chart here, which is for crude oil, which is trading at about 106, 107 in the pre-market action. The buy point was 108.16. So 108.16, it closed above that, but now it seems like it's moving back below that. So as long as it's holding back below this 108, suggests that this is going to be a double top here on the RSI, which suggests to me that crude oil could be seeing the highs, and so probably that play in the energy space could be coming to exhaustion here very early. We see that the RSI was showing that there could be signs of trouble here. Eric Mwathe, good luck, peace, and blessing. Mwah!